and welcome to the Most Magical podcast. My name is Sophie from Most Magical Guides, and usually we talk all about things at Disney, giving you tips and trips to visit the parks like a pro. But we have a very special episode today because we are actually going to be talking about Universal. So we're going to be getting those pro tips from an annual pass holder and talking about all the amazing vegan food at Universal. So please give a warm welcome to our very special guest, Shelby.
Yeah,
How are you doing,
thank you,
Shelby?
Sophie. I'm doing good. How are you, Sophie?
I'm so good. I'm so excited for this. I should
Me
give you a bit
too.
of background. So basically, I was coming to visit in 2020. So in 2019 is when I found your website, your Facebook page,
Oh,
and it was so helpful because I was like, I know exactly where to eat. And then, of course, we couldn't come, which was such a
yes.
shame. But then I kept
Disappointing.
exactly, and then I kept up to date with what was going on in the parks because I think part of the excitement of building up to a trip is kind of thinking about, oh, what can I eat and stuff like that. So it was great to have all the updates. So when I finally got back in 2022, it was super, super helpful, and we were actually going to meet, and then of course
You
Hurricane
were.
Ian came. It's
Yes,
such a
it
shame.
did.
So it's so nice we're finally chatting today.
I
It's
know.
perfect. And yeah, I'm so excited. I think that's the thing. When most people come to Orlando, it's very difficult to not want to do Disney and Universal because they're
Yes.
both so epic. And it's interesting because I feel like it's much easier to find out information about Disney and
Yeah.
like tips and tricks. Whereas Universal, you have to dig a bit more. But I think it's really helpful because you can get all of the tips that will get you ahead so you can have a good time in the parks. But I also feel like the good thing about Universal is you do not need to do as much planning. You very much can
Yes.
kind of turn up and enjoy yourself. So I'm just wondering, how long have you been visiting Universal for?
So I visited a couple times before I became an annual pass holder, but in 2015 is when we got our actual annual passes. So 9 years or
Oh,
so.
amazing. It's
Yeah.
so exciting. And
Feels
over
like
that
longer.
time, the parks have changed so
Oh my
much.
gosh, so much. So
It,
much. When I first started going, there was nothing
yeah,
to eat really, except
yeah,
for, some pretzel, super
yeah,
pretzels, which, they're not that super.
yeah,
It's like popcorn and things like that. So we were constantly
yeah.
leaving property, which I don't know if anybody else knows how much of a bummer that is, but I'm sure you do if you're vegan and you
Yes,
or you have
yes,
a dietary restriction at all, having to like go somewhere else off property. Like you just want to stay and enjoy the rides and have fun.
exactly.
So it
So
was
yeah,
tough back then.
yeah, it's so nice, isn't it? When you see over time, it get better and better. And
Yep.
now there's such a wide variety of vegan options. It's
Yes,
incredible.
there
It's so
are.
good.
I know. It's
Yes.
amazing. Almost every place does have something that's
Yes.
labeled.
And it just
Almost.
makes your trip so easy,
It
particularly if
does.
you're visiting with people who aren't vegan, because
Yes.
sometimes, they don't always want to eat in places that are vegan. So when you can go to a restaurant that has options for everyone, it's so handy.
It is. It's so nice. You don't have to like miss out with your family or sit there being like, oh, I'll just eat some lettuce.
Yeah, exactly. That's the worst, isn't it? Because
It
you're
is.
like, okay,
No
brilliant.
one,
Everyone else is
no
having
one
a
wants
great
to do
time.
that.
Exactly that. It's no good. But I was wondering, what do you think are the best things about going to Universal?
The best things about I mean, the fact that you can just go
Yep.
is really nice and not have
Yep.
to worry about reservations.
Yep.
Um, and the ease of it. I'm like, I know I've been to Disney several times. I was a Disney kid. Grew up in
Yep.
Florida, so that's where my parents took us. And just going to Disney is just so much more. Like
Yep.
you have to deal with how many modes of transportation to get into some places like Magic Kingdom. It's a lot. Like
Yep.
Universal, you just like go and park in the
Yep.
parking garage, and then
Yep.
you go to the hub, and then you go to City Walk or whatever park you're going to, and you can just go.
Yep.
Like I the
It's so
ease of
true,
it.
isn't it? Because something I really like about Universal is the fact that everything is right next to each other. So you
Yep.
can park hop super easy. If you
Yes,
want to go to City Walk for some food, you can. Like, that is so handy that you're
it
not, like you
is.
say, having to get like, oh, if you want to park hop right in Disney, you've got to get buses, or it just takes so much time. Whereas this is
Yeah.
like, I can either walk or I'll get on the really fun Hogwarts train.
Yeah, exactly. You have options and it's right
Yes.
there. And even the
Yeah.
hotels, like you could just go back through City Walk and hop on
Yeah.
a bus or hop on one of the boats and then there you are. You're
Yeah,
there in
exactly.
like
They're
15.
so close. And that's the thing. I stayed at Cabana Bay last time and I
Nice.
couldn't believe how, like you say, the bus is like a 5 minute journey, and
Yeah.
it was so frequent to the hotels, and it was perfect. And I was like, this is brilliant.
Yeah. It's really nice.
It was my first time ever actually doing a
Nice.
stay at Universal, and I
That's
was like, a
awesome.
split stay is the way forward. Because
Yeah.
if you want to do Disney and you want to be there, it's great to be on site, and sometimes you get the
Right.
offers. So, like in the UK, we get free dining, stuff like that, which is handy. But
Yeah.
being at Universal and being able to, like you say, just pop back and forth, and if you want to have a little break or a swim in the day,
Yes.
super easy, and then you go back to the parks, and it was lovely.
That's awesome.
Yes,
How'd
and
you like Cabana?
it's so cute. I loved
It
the
is.
theming so much. The fact that it's right next door to Volcano Bay,
Yes.
amazing.
That is
Like,
perfect.
massive pool. The food was also really good.
Hmm.
I was so impressed. And I was actually so impressed as well because obviously during the hurricane, the staff stayed, which I think is incredible. Because I'd
Yeah.
be like, I'm not
I'm
staying at work.
going home.
Yeah, exactly that. But the fact that they stayed, and obviously over the days they had less meals on offer because you couldn't get supplies to come in.
Right.
But the fact that they was just making it work somehow, it was so impressive. It was amazing.
That's very impressive.
Yes, and
I
yeah, I
love
was
that.
like, I was totally obsessed. They had like this most amazing stir fry.
Yes, the
And
stir fry is so good.
I think because you kind of think a stir fry sounds basic, and I'm like, oh no,
Yeah,
this is
it's
delicious.
not.
It's so
And
good.
it's huge. It's a really big
Yes.
portion.
Yeah, and it was also really affordable.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the food is much more affordable at Universal.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
good.
Yeah, which is so handy. You're like, oh, so I think that's another reason why it's great to do a split stay because the hotels are significantly cheaper, the food's cheaper. So
Oh wow.
if you want to get the full kind of Orlando experience, but make it much more affordable, I would absolutely do a
Hmm.
split stay because yeah, you're gonna save so much.
That's fantastic.
It's
That's
so
good to hear.
good.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that. I mean, I've never stayed on Disney property, so I don't really know what the comparison for the hotels is.
Yes.
I feel like people say that Disney is affordable, like as far as food goes, but
Yeah.
it's all relative too. So
Yeah, no, that's so true. That's so true. But yeah, and I really like that at Universal, there is a bit more of an adult feel because obviously you've got the big
yes,
thrill rides, you've got all of that Halloween Horror Nights feels very adult. And of
yeah,
course, people can come with kids,
of
but
course.
it definitely feels much more like, oh, this is more aimed at us. And I absolutely love that.
Yeah, that was going to be my other thing. Like, good point. It is
Yeah.
definitely themed more towards adults, and I mean, I'm a child-free adult. My husband and I don't have kids, so like we're not going to Disney and taking our children there. Our children
Yeah.
are cats right now,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
or forever.
Yes, exactly. I love that we're
So,
both the same. I'm
yeah.
like, if the cats could come, that would be amazing. Like,
Yeah.
come on. It'd be amazing. But yeah, I think it's so good, and there's so many great rides. What are your favorite rides at Universal?
Oh, that's a good question. On the Universal side, I love E.T. and the Mummy. I will admit, I
I've got a
don't
little
ride
ET top on
rides.
today.
You do? Oh my gosh, you do. I love that top. I wish they would make it in black. I can't wear white t-shirts. I will
Yes.
make a mess.
Yeah, no, that's the one downside, isn't it? I'm like, oh no, don't eat
It's
anything.
don't eat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't tend to ride as many rides anymore. I just
Yeah.
kind of go walk around and eat. But E.T. and the Mummy are my favorites in Universal. And then I do love Hagrid's. It's such a
Yes.
fun ride.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, I
Velocicoaster's
love.
fun too.
Yes, and that's the thing because this is the big battle, isn't it? Is it Velocicoaster or is it Hagrid's? And
Yeah,
I was like, they're both incredible, but I think I
they
prefer
are.
Hagrid's because it's a bit more of a fun ride.
It
Like
is.
Velocicoaster is so intense, and you're like, oh my gosh, you come off it,
Yeah.
you're wowed. But Hagrid's is so much fun.
It is. It makes me feel like a kid again. Like I get off that ride and I've just been like smiling and giggling the whole time because it's
Yes,
just fun.
yeah, it's so true. It's so true. And I have to say, I love the classics. Like I love E.T. as well. Like when
Yeah,
you get to the end and he says your name, I can't cope.
I know.
It's you. But
I know.
I was thinking earlier about because I went to Universal when I think I was 7 and
Oh, wow.
13. But back then you had all the old attractions like Twister,
Yes.
Jaws, you had a King Kong attraction. They had this
Hmm.
amazing Alfred Hitchcock kind of where the films came to life.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, I loved it back in the day. And I think it's amazing now because obviously it's always evolving. But
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, some of those classics were next level.
Some of Agreed. I didn't get to experience Alfred Hitchcock or Jaws. I missed it by like a little
Yeah,
bit, but I did get to experience Twister quite a few times, and I
yeah,
loved that. It was
it
so
was so
unique.
good.
I wish
Yes,
those are like the rides. Like I understand Universal wants to evolve and like
yeah.
do other things, but things like that make the park unique.
Yes, it's so true.
So
It's so true. Because yeah, you just don't get that sort of thing. And like you say, they were very unique rides. It
yeah,
wasn't like something you've ever been on before. And yeah, it was
exactly.
next level. I went to see Twisters the other day, and the whole
Nice.
time I just kept thinking about in the ride when you used to have the cow that flew through the air. And I was like,
Yeah.
there's not going to be a cow, is there? And there was no cow. And I was like, oh,
Oh.
I knew the ride was better.
They should have thrown that in there as like a
Yes,
throwback.
exactly. It was so funny. But yeah, it's amazing. But I'm really looking forward to Epic Universe because
Yes.
I am going to burst about Dark Universe. Like everyone on Earth, I think, is so excited that there's going to be a horror themed land.
Yeah, I think so too. It
Yes.
it almost sounds like they should have just made all of Epic Universe Dark Universe because every person I've ever talked to, they're like, I can't wait for Dark Universe. And I'm like,
Yes.
that land is gonna be so busy.
It's so true, isn't it? Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think they had like they have so many Universal monsters that they absolutely could have done that
Absolutely.
because yeah, it just I think it's going to be next level insane. The only thing I'm
It
sad
is.
about, and I'm like, I cannot go on Forbidden Journey because it leaves me so ill. And
Yeah,
I know one of the
same.
rides is basically kind of the same as it, but
Yeah.
just different theming. And I'm like, could they tame it down a little bit, and then maybe I could go on.
Yeah, those screens are rough sometimes.
Yes. Yeah,
They
that's the
make me a little
downside,
sick
isn't it?
too.
Yeah, it's
I
such a
close my
shame.
eyes.
That's the way to do it, isn't it? It's like, I'm going to
Yeah.
enjoy this. But yeah, I think Epic Universe literally looks epic. Like the
It
level of
does.
detail, the theming, I think it's going to be so good. So I cannot wait. And I'm
Yeah.
sure, like in Orlando, there must be such a buzz because to have a whole new theme park
Yeah,
is going to be next
it's gonna
level.
be interesting, that's
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly. It's been interesting because we've just been hearing about like the tickets, and I don't know if it's the same everywhere, but I think
Hmm.
here it's going to be you can buy your regular tickets, and then there'll be the option of you can add on the day. So like normally in the UK you would buy a 14-day ticket, but what
Okay.
they're going to start doing is selling a 15-day ticket. But you get one day at Epic
Oh.
Universe, and the rest will be in Islands of
Oh,
Adventure or Universal Studios. Or you can buy like
okay.
I think it's like a 4-day ticket or a 5-day ticket, but again, it's only one day in Epic Universe, and the rest will be in the other parks. So I think
Okay.
that's it. I suppose it's because they know it's going to be so busy that they're kind of
Yeah,
trying to ease the numbers down.
I
And
think so. Yeah.
yes, it'll be great. You'll get a little taste of Epic Universe, and then
Hmm.
inevitably you'll be like, I have to come back.
Yep, exactly.
It'll be so good. Well, I suppose we should dive into talking all about the vegan food, which I'm very
Okay.
excited for. So I was wondering, what do you think are some of the best quick service options in Universal Studios?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So, admittedly, I had to write notes because this is early in the
Yes,
morning for me.
yes, exactly.
I was like, I don't know if I'm going to remember everything, even though it's all in my brain.
It's so
Um,
true.
so okay, so I would say the best quick service in Universal, Leaky Cauldron, hands down,
Yes,
like my favorite spot. I think a
yes,
lot of people love it. It's Harry Potter, it's Leaky Cauldron. You get to go and like have, I mean, you're not having a feast, but like you're
yep,
almost at the great table, kind of with the other
yes,
people next to you. Like, I don't know. The theming's
yes.
amazing. They have
Unbelievable.
the shepherd's pasty pie, and I know that's not the correct name, but that's what Universal calls
Yeah,
it.
yes. I
I
love
have
that.
a friend that is like, it's pie pasty, and I'm like, I understand, but that's not what it's called. I'm
Yes, I love
sorry.
that.
I have to call it the name.
Yes, exactly.
So that I think honestly, out of anything, unfortunately, right now it's been out of stock for like a month,
Yes.
which is
Amazing. Yeah,
making me very depressed. I
yeah,
hope it comes back soon. It's
exactly.
still shown on the menu. They just started
Yeah.
serving it. So
Oh
hope crossing my
no.
fingers it comes
Yeah, you're
back
like, please
soon.
come back. I remember
Yeah.
I had the pasty just I feel like it's a snack version the same, but just smaller.
Yeah. Essentially it's the same.
It was so good. I'm
I
sure it
know.
was amazing.
It's so good.
It was so good. So yeah, I need
It's
to
so
try the
good.
full meal version.
Yes, the full meal, honestly, it's one of those things like it's expensive, but you could share it with somebody and both of
Yep.
you would be full. So don't feel
Yes.
like you have to eat the whole thing by yourself.
Yep. Yes.
It comes with an apple beet salad and then some potato wedges. So you could split the
Amazing.
pasty in half and each divide up the sides and you'll be good. It comes with a
Awesome.
stone ground mustard dipping sauce, which is incredible. I wish the little one came with it because it's so good.
Yes. Oh my God, that sounds
Oh,
awesome.
it's perfect.
Yeah.
Um, and then honorable mentions because
Yes,
like
yes.
that one is the best. Today Cafe has three vegan options, which are
Yeah.
great. They have an overnight oats, they have Park Avenue avocado toast, and then they have the I Heart Vegan. So all of those are great options as well.
Yeah. I really like that actually at Universal you can get vegan breakfast options because that's
Yeah,
something you do not find in the parks at Disney, apart from if you do table service. But
right.
Universal is so much better set up that you can just pop in, get a little avocado toast, be on your way.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I agree. I do wish there were more breakfast options,
Yeah.
but I totally agree with you. You can get breakfast because Today Cafe does open with the parks. So whenever Universal's open, Today Cafe is open, even like they stay open until the park closes on a regular day
Yeah.
and during horror nights. So
Amazing.
Today Cafe is always an option, which I think is amazing.
Yes.
It's good. And then Louis, I wanted to throw out a mention to Louis because they have a really good vegan sausage and peppers pasta, and then they have vegan garlic knots now,
Oh,
which
that sounds
is
amazing.
yeah, which is awesome. I had one yesterday. It
Yeah.
was so good. But you can get a side of them. You just go up and order like a side of vegan garlic knots, and they'll bring you three giant fluffy
Yeah.
garlic knots that are fresh.
Oh
And
my
I've seen
gosh.
the ones that they serve that are not vegan, and I'm like, they're small and they look like they're hard and have been sitting there forever. So like I'm grateful that everything you get at Louise, if you're vegan, is fresh.
That's amazing. That is such a big
Yeah,
bonus, isn't it? You're
it
like,
is.
we're
It's a
totally
huge
winning.
bonus.
It's so good. That sounds
Yeah.
delicious as well. And I
Yeah.
really like there's a big variety of different foods at Universal.
Yes.
Like whatever you're in the mood for, you're probably going to be able to find. And it's not
Yeah.
like, oh, it's just going to be like burgers. And I think
Yep.
when you think of theme parks, that's what you assume. But it's
Yes.
so great. There's so
Definitely.
many options.
It's funny because
Yeah,
I just posted a burger on Instagram
I love that.
this
It's
morning,
so good.
but it is supposedly National Hamburger Day. So I was like, I'll
Oh, that's
participate.
perfect. Yeah,
But
exactly. But I
but
think that's
like,
great, isn't it? Like there are really good
yes.
burger options if you want them. And if you're
Yes,
thinking of something
exactly.
different, and something I actually found interesting, which is a great problem to have, is it was hard to narrow down where to
Yes.
eat because there's so
Yes.
many options now. You're like,
I
I
totally
don't know what
agree.
to do.
I totally agree. I try to make, because I'm local, I try to go and make the rounds and like eat eat around the park all the
Yeah,
time, but sometimes I even have trouble. I'm like, well, what am I going to eat this time? Because everything is so good. Like I
it's
don't
so
know how to make
true.
that decision.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's made for me if they
yep,
don't have what I want or the line is long, but
yep, yes.
it's a good
Yeah,
problem
I
to
love
have.
that. It's so true, isn't it? Like you say, considering only like a few years ago, it was like, do you want some fries or a little dry salad? And
Yeah,
now it's just like, I don't know what to
literally.
have. There's too many options.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
fantastic.
Totally agree.
What do you think are some of the best quick service options in Universal Studios?
Oh, quick service. Did you want to
So,
do quick service or table service?
table
Sorry.
service.
Okay.
I think we just did quick service. I don't know if I
Yeah.
confused everyone.
It's okay. Sorry.
Sorry.
I'm sleepy still.
No, it makes
Um,
sense.
so for table service, there's not a whole lot because we only have two table service restaurants. So
Yeah,
it's Lombard's and Finnegan's.
yeah,
And right now, Lombard's hasn't changed their options. The last time I went, their options were new and they have a Pacific Heights vegan pasta,
yeah,
but I personally didn't like it very much when
yeah.
when I had it. It was very lemony, and I know this sounds ridiculous. I'm a huge fan of the lemon flavor, but it was too much.
Yes, yeah,
So right now I'm gonna say Finnegan's is the table service restaurant I would recommend because they have the vegan shepherd's pie,
yeah.
which also
Okay.
ex on the expensive side, but also a shareable portion. Like the thing is huge. It
Yeah.
comes in like a big like the thing. It's gigantic. You can
Amazing.
definitely share it with somebody and still be full. So
Yes. I
it's
think that's
it's
what's
great.
really nice is that because there's so many quick service restaurants,
Hmm.
You're not having to think about dining reservations or
Yes,
sitting down and taking a portion out of your day. You could just
exactly.
get stuff on the go, and there's so many places to eat, which is fantastic. Because
Yeah,
when I'm at Disney, I do love a table service moment and
of
having a little
course.
sit down for my feet. But of course, it definitely takes much more time up. And
It
typically,
does.
when I'm in Universal, I'm there for maybe a couple of days versus Disney. Sometimes I'll do 2 weeks. So
Hmm.
at Disney, I can take the time out, but at Universal, you want to be able to just get the good
Yeah.
food and go.
You
So
want to
it's
do the things.
yes, exactly. It's perfect.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's another plus. Like not really, you don't have to make dining reservations unless you want to. There, I would say Mythos is one that you
Yeah.
should make a dining reservation at. But the other restaurants, for the most part, you can get in on a regular day.
Yes. Oh, that's so
So
perfect. It's so
yeah.
much less stress, isn't it? Because you're not thinking
Yes,
like, and you don't have to plan your day around, oh, I've got to be at this restaurant at this time, which is so
exactly.
handy. Yeah, it's so much
Exactly.
more relaxed. It's lovely.
It is.
So good. What do you think are some of the best quick service meals over in Islands of Adventure?
Oh, okay. Quick service meals and islands. I'm gonna say Circus McGurkus is my favorite right now. They just reopened a couple months ago. Um, this I'm gonna get on a little bit of a soapbox for like 1 second. Just in the sheer fact that you wouldn't know that they had a vegan magician meatball cone option unless you look on the app.
Oh,
I was in
interesting.
there on Friday, I think it was, and I was checking the menu board that they have because you can still it's supposed to be mobile order, but you can
Yeah,
still go up to the register, and
right.
the menu board in front of the register doesn't have the vegan option on it. Like it shows the salad,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
doesn't show the meatball cone, and I'm like, I don't understand why they're not advertising that they have this.
Yeah, so
It's not on the
weird.
outside menu. I'm like, why are you not telling people you have this? Because
Yeah.
if it was me and I was walking by not knowing anything about vegan food at Universal and I walked by the outside menu, I'd be like, oh, they just have a vegan salad
Yeah,
because
exactly
the
that.
salad has a
Yes.
double leaf. And I'm like, but you're not telling people there's a pasta option in here that they could have that's the equivalent of one of the non-vegan options, which is, I
Yeah.
don't know. It's pretty
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah, that's such a
So
shame, isn't it?
anyway,
Because like you say, it could be so easy to miss that.
yeah, it really would. You'd be like, well, I don't feel like eating a salad. Not
Yes.
knowing like you can get a garlic bread cone
Yeah,
at this
exactly. It's so true,
restaurant.
isn't it?
Yeah, right?
It's so true.
It's so weird.
Yes.
I don't know why they don't put it on the menu. But
Yeah.
anyway, um, so they have that. Then they have the salad. Then they one of the popcorn options is vegan, the garlic popcorn, and then
Amazing.
so it's very vegan friendly here. Like
Yes. Yeah.
it's very vegan friendly. And then outside they have like a little mobile order window, kind of like they have at Illuminations Minion Cafe in Universal. So there's slightly different options, which I should have mentioned that before for quick service. Anyway.
But that's so handy to know because I think,
Yeah.
like you say, people could easily think, oh, it'll be the same, but maybe the mobile order one is
Yeah.
just for people who've mobile ordered. But that's great to know that do
Yeah.
check because the
They're
menu's
slightly
different.
different.
Yes.
So the Circus McGurkus one has two ice pops now, and they're both vegan.
Oh my gosh.
So there's slightly different things at some of the mobile order only the windows. Yeah. It's so Circus McGurkus
That sounds
is
so
my
good.
top one.
Yes. And do you know what I love about Universal? There's so many ice pops available with
Yeah,
so
there's a
many
lot.
flavors. And like I find just in general, like vegan sweet treats are much easier to find in
Yeah.
Universal. And you're just like, it's amazing. And I always like ice pops because when it's really hot, you don't always want to
Hmm.
eat, but you want cold things. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is the best in between option.
I totally agree. And I mean, you can get like the lemon or strawberry slushes around the park, but they're not slushes when you think of like a slush. Like they're
Right.
literally it's ice, flavored ice.
Yeah.
So you can't drink it. You have
Right.
to like eat
Yeah.
it with a spoon unless you set it out for like a couple minutes in the heat. It might melt enough to use a straw, but
Yes. Yeah.
ice pops are definitely easier to eat and you can walk around
Yeah.
rather than being like, here, I have
Oh.
my cup and spoon.
Yeah, exactly. It's so true. It's so true.
Ah, I will also mention Cafe 4
Yep.
in Islands. They have the vegan fettuccine Alfredo, which I know I'm mentioning a lot of pasta, but these pasta dishes, while they are hot pastas, you can let them cool off and eat them and share them with a friend because
Nice.
it's also a large portion.
Oh, it sounds
which is good.
perfect. And who doesn't love pasta? Like,
I
these all
mean,
sound amazing.
I know I love pasta. So, but I guess um I'm a little different because I'm not actually spending my whole day at the park. I'm not eating the
Right.
pasta and then going to try and ride rides. Usually,
Yes, that's true.
that's not exactly the best idea.
Yes, that's a very good point.
But this is why I recommend sharing with a friend because you'll both be satisfied and you won't be hungry anymore and you won't feel so full that you go on a ride and
Exactly.
you're like, oh, my tummy. Like,
Yeah,
no
that's
one
such a
wants to
good
feel like
point.
that.
That's so true. Because that is one downside, isn't it? Like, you
Hmm.
don't want to be eating and then be like, I'll just casually go on Velocicoaster. It's like, that's a
Right?
bad idea. Like, don't be doing that.
No, no. The team members are gonna have to clean something up probably
Yeah,
after
exactly. They're
that.
like, sorry, the ride's temporarily closed because
Yeah.
someone's food's now on the outside. It's not good. Not a good day.
No, not good at all.
That must be an awful thing though at theme parks. I feel so, for
Yeah,
cast members, I'd be like, if I'm not getting paid like £1 million a shift, I'm not doing this.
right. I wouldn't want to do that.
Exactly that.
You can pay
I'm
me
like,
enough money to do that.
no, exactly. So I'm
I'll clean
like,
up cat puke, no
yes,
problem. But
same. It's really weird, isn't it?
yeah.
I love that. But no, are there many table service options in Islands of Adventure?
So you have two. You have Mythos and Confisco.
Perfect. I actually went to Mythos years and years and years
Did
ago.
you? Me too.
Yes, and like
It's been
yeah,
a while.
exactly. I do love that they always have the sign up where they're like, "We're voted the best theme park
Yeah.
restaurant in the world," and I'm like, I don't know what year it was, but it's been there every year that I've been.
It's been there a really long time, and I remember
Yes,
it did used to have a year on it, or maybe a year range, but it
yes,
doesn't anymore. It just says voted best theme park restaurant by Theme Park
yes.
Insider, and I'm always like, still?
Yeah, exactly. It's
Is
so
is it
funny.
still the case? I don't know. Is
I love that.
it?
I absolutely love it.
Yeah, that's
But
funny. So that
yes,
yeah, Mythos is one that I would say you do need a reservation in advance for. So if anyone is looking to dine there, they do have vegan options. I haven't had them in a long time. I'm trying to maybe go back sometime soon.
yep.
I'm just not that excited about what they have because they have a vegan pad thai and then they have a souvlaki couscous bowl that you can make vegan. You have to remove quite a few things. It's like
Right,
I
yes,
think the tahini, the feta, like there's
right,
two or three things that you have to remove. And
yes.
I'm a sauce person, so I don't like losing things that are gonna make the dish
Yes, that's so
not dry,
true.
right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Confisco, though, I will highly recommend Confisco. They have right now, I think it's a summer seasonal item, so later this might not be available, but they have a vegan crab cake that is
Amazing.
amazing and it has mofongo bites with it. It's incredible. I don't think they'll keep
Amazing.
it past the summer, unfortunately, but
Yes.
it's really good.
That's such a unique option as well. That
It
sounds
is.
amazing.
It
That's
is.
so
I
good.
I do I do love that. Excuse me. About Universal, I do feel like they are really trying to go the extra mile and not be
Yeah.
like, oh, here's another burger, here's another pasta, because we do have a lot of burgers and pastas,
Yes.
but they are trying to give more variety of food
Yes.
and different unique things. So I
Exactly.
appreciate that.
Yeah, and it just gives your trip that variety, doesn't it? Because like you say, you don't want to
Yep.
eat the kind of same thing every day, but you can mix it
Yeah,
up, which is great. And
it
that's something I
is.
actually wanted to point it out. What's really fantastic about your website is when you go through the options, if there are modifications needed, you let people know, like you need to
Yes.
modify this and this is what you need to modify. Or even I really like as well when there's options that sound like they could be vegan and you will point out
Yeah.
this isn't vegan, so just be aware.
Yeah.
Which I think it'd be so easy to get caught out. So it's so handy to
Yes.
have somewhere where you can get all of the information and you know exactly what you can have and how to order it.
Thank you. I do try to be very thorough and
Yeah.
admittedly sometimes I'm not that great about updating my website when things change, but I do try.
Yeah.
We did have a thing happen recently in our Facebook group where somebody had gone to Fast Food Boulevard in the Simpsons land and they had gotten the Mother Nature burger, which sounds like it should be vegan, but it's
Yes.
not.
Yes.
And they were like, "Well, what makes it not vegan?" And I'm like, I gotta be really honest with you. I don't know if it's the bun or the patty or both,
Yeah.
but it's not a vegan option. They even have a veggie sandwich at the same location. And you could just like pick it
Yeah.
up and go, and the bread isn't vegan. So it's like That's why I do
Yeah,
try to put that note in there so that people aren't thinking, oh, this sounds
exactly
like it
that.
should be vegan,
A
but it
million
is
percent.
not.
And I think people don't always think that like bread won't be vegan. So you, like you
Yeah.
said, if you see a veggie sandwich, you just think perfect. So it's
Yep.
really handy to know, actually just be aware of this because it's not going to be vegan.
Yeah, exactly. I
And
mean,
what's really great, sorry.
all right, no, go ahead.
I was going to say what's really great as well is the fact you have the Facebook group. So you
Oh,
give like
yes.
the most up-to-date information. People
Hmm.
can ask questions. Like it's so, so handy and interactive.
Yes. I love it. I'm glad that's where we started. And
Yeah.
it's still the essence of what Universal Orlando Vegans is, because Instagram is only going to be so much, as I can't have
Yep.
conversations with people. People can't
Yes.
interact there as easily. And just everybody having that like camaraderie
Yep.
and the
Yes.
conversation about the food. I love that. I love the group members. Like everybody is so
Yep.
great. I've never been in a Facebook group that has the least, there's like almost no drama.
Yes. No, it's so
We've
true. It's so
It's so
true.
crazy. Like for the most part, I will be honest, there's been a couple people we've had to kick out
Yep.
at certain points. It's very few, I would say less than 5 people over the last 9 years.
That's amazing.
And most posts get approved, even if something isn't 100% vegan, we'll make somebody put a note in it.
Yep.
People
Yes.
mistakes can be made.
Yep. A
No
million
one's
percent.
perfect. And I'm never going to fault someone for that as long as they recognize that, oh shoot, that shouldn't be in the picture or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yep.
So I just having that open communication with everyone is just so great. And I think
Yes.
everybody is awesome in there.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And it's so handy because you'll get people who will be like, oh, I'm coming for just one day, like, where should I eat?
Hmm.
And then
Yeah.
everyone will give you their favorite dishes. And it's so
Yes.
nice because, like, again, you can look at like all of the menus and you can think, oh, I'd like that. But there could be somewhere that's better to eat. And
Yep.
it's like, it's so
Totally
good to have
agree.
that information.
It is. And, there might be people who have a similar allergy or a
Yep.
similar, um, some people don't like certain things in their food. Like sometimes
Yep.
onions
Exactly.
irritate me sometimes. So it's nice to know from someone else's perspective if like the onion was overpowering in a dish or whatever it is. So
Exactly.
hearing from other people, their experiences is really great. I
Yeah,
totally
no.
agree.
Yeah, it makes such a difference when you're
It
planning because
does.
you're like, okay, I know exactly where to eat. And like you say,
Yeah,
like if you have something specific you don't like, on a menu you can't tell, like you say, how strong is
exactly.
that flavor going to be?
Yep.
Whereas other people could be like, oh, I've got you. It's
Yeah,
perfect.
exactly.
It's so
Exactly.
handy. And something else that I think is great is City Walk. Again, there's so many restaurants there,
Yes.
and you sometimes find, oh, there's a cat. I do apologize.
I
They
know. He's so cute. I only see the tail, but
it's
oh,
perfect. He was like, I'm gonna make a little debut.
I love it.
It's so fun. But what's nice about City Walk is the thing I find in Orlando is if you were to go off-site and go to a lot of
Mhm.
like big chains that people have heard of, like I don't know, like Olive Garden or something, there's not always vegan options or you
Right.
modifying. But what's great is City Walk, there are loads of like chain restaurants, but you can still get vegan options, which is
Yes,
so convenient.
it is. I love City Walk. I don't get to dine there as much because, it's sit down,
Yes.
and
Yep.
I'm not really a huge fan of like sitting down for a long meal all the time. So,
Yep.
yeah, there's some really great stuff in City Walk. Like Bob Marley is an
Yes.
amazing spot, except for,
Yes.
when it's really hot out because
Yes.
it's outside.
Yes.
But
Yes. Yeah, I
yeah,
actually ate at Bob Marley
did
during
you?
my last trip, and it was
Nice.
so good. And like you say, you're sat outside, there's a band playing, like it was so
Yes.
relaxed, it was so nice, the food was so good. Yeah,
Yes.
perfect.
And I would, out of all of the City Walk restaurants, they have the most vegan options there, which is great. So I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
I think anybody could find something to eat at Bob Marley.
yeah. Like, yeah, it was a huge range of options, which was
Hmm.
amazing. It
And
was
some are gluten-free too. So
yes,
you capture the vegan and gluten-free crowd because we don't have a lot of those options on property
yes,
that
no,
don't
that's
have to be
so
heavily
true.
modified. So
Yes, so that's so perfect, isn't it? Because, like you said, it must be
it is.
so difficult when you have more than one dietary requirement because
Yes.
it just compounds how difficult it is. But it's great when you're like, okay, we can go here. They've got a few options, and it's
Hmm.
all delicious.
Yep.
Yes,
Exactly.
and it's amazing to me. You even have like chains like Burger King, and then you're like, oh, you
Yep.
can have a plant-based Whopper, and you're
Yeah.
like, that's
Yeah.
mad now. Who would have
I
ever
know.
thought that?
I know it's so great. I love that they offer
Yes.
that because sometimes you just want
Yep.
something familiar. And I understand why
Yes.
people pick chains a lot because you know what to expect, you know what you're
100%.
getting. Taking a risk on something that you've never had,
Yeah.
can be tough. I have trouble doing it sometimes here in Orlando. I have a whole list of places that I want to try, and
Yeah.
some days I'll be like, oh, I should try something new. And then I'm like, I just don't
Yes.
know. Like, I don't know what I'm getting. I don't know what to
Yep.
expect. So having that all right, I'm not gonna even try to say it.
Yeah.
It's too early in the morning.
I love it.
Having something familiar is nice
Yep.
sometimes.
No,
So I
it's
get that.
so true. I'm like that. Like, there's a restaurant in the UK that I'm obsessed with called Wagamama, and
Hmm.
every time, like everything I've ate there has always been really good. But there's one dish I particularly like, and I'm like, do I get something else because I know it'll be good? And I'm like, no, I can't. I can't risk it. I'm just gonna have to get
Yeah.
the same thing. I'm
Yep.
obsessed.
I
It's true,
totally
isn't
get
it?
that. It
Yes,
is
exactly. It's
so
so good.
true.
Something I love at City Walk is Voodoo Donuts.
Yes.
The fact that they have so many
I
vegan
know.
donuts,
I know.
incredible.
It
So
is.
good.
What's your favorite one?
I don't know. I really, well, I love getting the Voodoo Man just because he's iconic and it's
He is.
hilarious. But I'm trying to think which ones I had because last time what happened is the day before the hurricane. So I was
Hmm.
in the park and I heard some cast members talking. I probably shouldn't have eavesdropped, but they were saying, "Oh, they're going to announce it's closing later," and I was
Oh,
like, "That makes sense."
yeah.
So I went to NBC Grill because I was like, right, I'll get a big burger before
Yep.
like going down because I brought some snacks to my room in case the restaurant and stuff at the hotel weren't going to be open.
That's a good plan.
So I
Yeah.
was like, have a big meal. And then I was like, do you know what? Go to Voodoo Donuts. And I think I got 4 donuts. And I was like, I can ease them out over
Nice.
the next days for
Yep.
breakfast. And every single person on the bus had Voodoo Donuts. So I was like, we've all got the
Oh
same
my
plan.
gosh. Yep. That's a good plan.
It was perfect. But what are your favorite donuts from there?
Oh, geez. I do like the voodoo doll.
Yes.
I would say my favorite specialty ones are the maple bar and the Portland cream, both
Oh,
the
yes. I
vegan
had the
versions
Portland
because they make
cream.
two. You did? How
Yes.
did you like
So
it?
good.
It's
It's
so
so
rich.
good. Yes. It's so good.
And then, a classic vegan glazed or like a chocolate frosted, stuff like that. I do like
Yes.
the basic donuts sometimes. I don't
Yeah.
always like to. The other ones are a little indulgent for me because
Yeah.
like I don't have anyone to share them with. My husband doesn't really like donuts, so it's not like I'm just gonna cut this in half and you can have half of it. It's like no, I
Exactly.
have to eat the whole thing myself or throw
Yep.
part of it away. And it just depends on what happens. But yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But it's quite crazy because there's like 15 different vegan donuts and
Yeah,
it's
there's a
nice because
lot.
it's like basically most of their regular menu they do a vegan
Yes,
option of, which I think is really handy because sometimes
it
like
is.
you're like, oh, I really like that donut, but they don't have a vegan option. So there,
Mm-hmm.
it's not a problem.
Yep, exactly.
And like you
I
said, I think
think
they're really affordable too.
they
Like
are.
really good prices.
They are. I think they're like $3 or $4 a piece. I mean,
Yes.
it's obviously depending on which one you get. The
Yeah.
the more complicated donuts are a little more expensive, but if you think about it, if you go to a regular donut shop, I'm sure the prices are pretty comparable, I'm
Yes, a
guessing.
million percent. Yeah, I think I found that they seem cheaper than other places, and I was
Oh,
just
that's
blown
good.
away because you assume as well, being so close to Universal, they could put the prices up, but it
Yeah,
seems like they're just like, oh no, we just charge what we normally charge, which is so
right.
good. And
Instead of
like,
being like $8 a donut.
yeah, exactly that. And it's like everything about it, like the branding, everything is so cool.
It is.
It's
It
just
is.
amazing. But
I
yeah, I
love
think
going in there. It's cute.
yes, it's so good. Yeah, I think I bought some merch because I was like, gonna have to take some home
Nice.
when
I
it's
love
just
it.
it's so good. But yeah, and like we say, what's so convenient is the fact that City Walk is right in front
Mhm.
of the parks. So
Yep.
if on your way out of the park you think, oh, let's eat, you can do that. Or even in the day, if you think, let's have lunch outside,
Yeah,
you're not taking a huge amount of time out of your day, which is perfect.
I agree. And
Yeah.
you could even, if you're like, I'm done at Universal, I want to go to Islands, but I'm also hungry, pop into City Walk and then pop into the next park.
Yes,
Super
it's so
easy. And now you
good.
visited all three places in one day.
Yeah, exactly that. It's so true. And that is such a convenient thing, isn't it? Because they are
It
just so
is.
close and it's just so nice. And I was going to mention as well the hotels because a lot of them also
Yes,
have vegan options. So if you're
they
staying
do.
at them, it's super easy if you think you want to grab something for breakfast or, you've been at the park all day and you just want something in the evening.
Yep.
Perfect. You've got something.
It's totally true. I think all of them have Starbucks. So
Yep.
right there. I think most of them at least serve their oatmeal. So if
Yep.
you're hungry, you can get that. And,
Yep.
all of their plant-based modifiable drinks and things like that. And
Yes.
then most of the restaurants or most of the hotels do have restaurants that have either labeled vegan options or ones that we have confirmed that they have. So
That's
it's
perfect.
great.
My friends actually stayed at I think it was Royal Pacific, and I don't know if that's where they
Nice.
ate, but they ate in one of the restaurants, and they were like they actually had like a vegan section of the menu, which they were
Yep.
like we never used to seeing. It's normally like one option in
Yes.
a restaurant, and that's what you have. But they were like we actually had like a vegan section. We couldn't believe it.
Yep. I know. It's great. Lowe's has been good about adding those vegan menus, which is funny because I know you had Princess and the Bear on. So
Yes.
them, me and them, or them and I, however you say it, we have
Yes.
been partnering a lot together. If there's like
Yep.
a restaurant that has a lot of vegan stuff, we'll go together and try it all because it's more economical for us.
Exactly. That makes
And
absolute sense.
yeah, it's been great. So we actually discovered Jake's over at Royal Pacific last
Yep.
weekend. They have it's not a full vegan menu, but it's like their allergy menu. So it has like some gluten-free stuff on it, but they do have vegan marked options. And you can actually get a vegan pizza there that's really good.
So
Yeah.
good. Oh my God,
And I
that's
was like,
amazing.
why can't we get vegan pizza in the park? Can we
Yes.
please get that?
Oh my God, that would be the next thing, wouldn't it? Be like, that's
I
got to be on my
hope.
list, surely. That'd be amazing.
I really hope so. That's like the one thing that
Yeah.
maybe a vegan breakfast sandwich would be nice.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. That would be so good.
So
But
good.
yeah, I just think it's so handy that it just makes your life easier, isn't it, when you're visiting now?
It
You're
does.
not having to worry. You know you're
Yeah.
going to be able to find lots of things to eat. And like we said, if you're traveling with other people, everyone's going to find things they like. Like
Yep.
it's just so convenient. It's so
I
good.
totally agree. It's
Yes,
amazing.
exactly. I'm
There's
so
even some
excited.
vegan desserts at the hotels now, which is like I never thought I'd see the
Yes.
day.
Yeah,
And they're
exactly
good.
that. Yes. It's so amazing, isn't it? Because like, it
It
does feel
is.
like it's coming so fast, so quickly, which is
Yeah.
amazing. Because, like you say, even a few years ago, the thought of having like a vegan dessert is just like, oh, that doesn't really happen. And now it's like, there's stuff for us. It's so
Yep.
fun.
Totally agree. It's so
Yes,
crazy.
it's so good. But yeah, I'm very excited. So I am heading back out to Orlando in a couple of weeks'
Yes.
time, and we're gonna go meet up. We're
So
going to Halloween Horror
excited.
Nights, which I'm so
Yes.
excited for. It's gonna be absolutely the best, and
I
especially
can't
because
wait.
it's been like a 2 year gap since we were supposed to have met, so
I
getting to
know.
finally meet, which is gonna be the best. And
I
I am
know.
so excited for Halloween Horror Nights. I've never been. So it's gonna be the
I'm
first
so excited for
experience.
you.
I can't wait. And I think you do you normally get the frequent fear pass?
Yeah, I do ultimate.
Yes. Oh, amazing. That's the way to do it, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
if you live in Orlando or close by and you can visit and
Yeah.
you can get through all the houses, but it's not that rush. You can just, over the course of the season, go to
Yep.
them, see the shows, eat all the snacks. Like,
Yes.
and that's something I think is really good. I think I've already seen you've posted that there's one vegan snack that's been announced already.
Yes.
And
Yes.
again, like Disney, when they do their special events, they never ever have vegan options. So Universal
It's so
told them,
disappointing.
I know, and it's so easy to do. Like I was saying to this to a friend the other day, and she's going to the Halloween party in Disney, and she
Oh,
was like,
nice.
I would even accept if they had a normal vegan treat and they just put a pumpkin on it. Like
Yeah.
something that they already
Yeah,
sell, and
yeah.
they just went,
Why
here's a
not?
pumpkin or something. And I'm like, that's
That's
so true. That
easy.
would have been so easy. And I'm like, oh
Yeah.
gosh. But Universal are like, oh no, we're going to do specific options, which is so
That's awesome to hear. I love hearing that because like
yes.
I know in the theme park community, especially the vegan theme park community,
Yeah.
Disney gets a lot of praise. And
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
deserved because I know they truly do make the effort, but it's so
Yeah.
nice to hear that Universal is at least in
Yes.
competition with
Yeah.
Disney in that
Yes.
respect.
Yes.
So it's
Yeah.
good to hear.
No, it's so true. And it's interesting because my friends that, so they like at mostly eat quick service, and they actually
Hmm.
were like, they found Universal much easier because they found more
That's good.
variety. And I was like, I think at Disney there is variety, but again, it's that thing of there's so many restaurants that
Hmm.
unless you know specifically the ones to go to that have the interesting options,
Yep.
you could find a lot of the same stuff if you're just walking into places. Whereas they were like at Universal, we had so much variety, and yeah, it's so handy to know.
That's good. I remember the last time my husband and I went to Disney, I think it was either 2014 or 2015 maybe. And I know
Yes.
Disney had vegan options back then, but
Yep.
everything was at a restaurant that I couldn't get into. Like there wasn't a lot of quick service
Yes.
that I
Yeah.
could just walk up and get. And
Yeah.
I just
That's
want to
so
like go about
difficult.
my day. I need a snack
Yeah.
that I could just pick up and I can just either eat it really quick or eat it on the go. And I feel
Yeah.
like that's where I was like struggling at Disney. I was like, I need to
Yes.
leave because I can't eat
Yeah,
anything
that's so
here.
difficult, isn't it? But yeah, again, it's interesting. It seemed to be around 2019, everyone suddenly caught on that vegans
Hmm.
come and we should probably
Yeah.
think of them. So it is amazing now that you keep seeing more and more options
Yes.
everywhere, and you're like, and that's the thing I always say to people, because I'm like, if you go to Disney and Universal, you're going to have too many things. You're not going to know what to
Yes.
pick. But if you go off-site, if you've got a car and you can go to vegan restaurants, there's some really
Hmm.
fantastic ones in Orlando.
There
If you're
are.
going to go to like the typical chains, like maybe Denny's or something, you're probably going to have a harder time.
Yeah.
Which I think in the UK we're very spoiled because
Hmm.
basically every restaurant now has vegan options.
That's what I've
So
heard. That's
yes, and it's
amazing.
so easy to eat. And I think people presume that America would be exactly the same. And
Nope.
I'm like, yeah, I think it's much more difficult in like your big chain restaurants. But I think
Yeah.
I've seen like so many reviews of amazing vegan options. And a lot of them actually seem to be quite close to Universal or more
Hmm.
like that part of Orlando. So I'm
Yeah.
like, that's definitely an option.
It definitely is there, and there's a lot of stuff available on Uber Eats. You just type in vegan and you can
Yes.
find something,
Yeah.
and
I
there are
hadn't even thought of
places,
that. That's such a good point.
yeah. There's some
Yes.
places near the park, like the Mexican Camel has a lot of vegan options. And when I say a lot of vegan options, they even have sauces that you can have. And like most places, there's
Yay.
no sauces. And
Yeah.
shout out to them for having
Yes.
vegan sauces that we can eat, which is
That
amazing.
sounds so good.
Yeah.
But yes. But yeah, I hadn't even thought of Uber Eats. That's such a good option.
Yeah, it
If you're just
is.
like back at your hotel or your villa or something and you think we
Yep.
just want something to eat, so convenient.
We've definitely done it a couple times. We stayed with friends at one of the
Yes.
hotels when we didn't live here. We
Yep.
don't we stay at the hotels for horror nights,
Yep.
but it's like a tradition. Um,
Yes.
but
Yes.
we'd stay there with friends and have like a pool day and be like, we're hungry,
Yep.
there's stuff at the hotel, but like I want something different. We order from like Toasted. Toasted
Right.
has like burgers, they have fries, but they also
Yeah.
have like vegan cheese sauces and things like that.
Oh
So
my God.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
incredible.
It's
I
good stuff.
love that.
Good to
But
eat
yeah,
by the pool.
yes, exactly that. Exactly. And this is why it's so handy to know someone that lives in Orlando because you could get all of
Yeah,
this tips and advice and you're like, brilliant.
true.
This is so handy. And especially someone who's an annual pass holder to the parks because
Yeah.
they know, like you said, the best places to go, the best strategy. It's like the other day I was messaging you like, oh, with Halloween Horror Nights, I don't know whether to get stream early. And it's
Yeah,
perfect to know, yes, you should do it. But
you should
also
do
these
it.
are the reasons why. And it's so handy because you've got that experience.
Yes.
Yes, I can't wait.
It comes from years of doing it ourselves.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And I think that's the thing, like Halloween Horror Nights, if you're going for just the one night, I think you do
Mhm.
need a kind of strategy, or at least
Yeah.
like these are the houses that are our musts, and we'll aim for them, and anything extra is a bonus.
Yes. Totally
Yes.
agree. And
Yeah.
doing Scream early or stay and Scream, and I'll just note this for anybody listening because I
Yeah.
know Universal's kind of made it not easy to understand. So
Right.
Scream Early is a ticket that you need if you don't have an annual pass or a park ticket for that day.
Yeah.
So I know there's been a few people because in the annual pass holder group, it happens all the time. Like it's the annual pass holder group, and annual pass holders are asking about
Yeah.
Scream Early, which they don't need if they have an annual
Exactly.
pass. If you're not
Yes.
blocked out for that day, of course. I know there's
Yeah.
some blockouts. But if you don't have any of that, buy a Scream Early ticket and you'll be good. And
Yes.
just go early. Just know, excuse me, going into the houses, you might be a little light blind, but
Yep.
if you do the house, you could always come back later
Yep.
when it's
100%.
dark and do it again if if the line isn't too long or if you have express. If
Yep.
the line's not too long during stay and scream, don't burn your express pass
Yep.
unless you're
That's
not intending to do
true.
it again,
Yep, that's a
of
good
course.
point. And do you think like if people were just doing the one night, Express Pass is a good way to go?
I do.
Yep.
Yeah. If you
Yes, yeah.
don't I have a problem standing in line, so Express definitely helps. Like
Yep.
my feet hurt at the end of the night, so yeah, get Express if you can. I know it is costly, but if you're going for only the one night and
Yep.
you don't have that like extra buffer time, like you were talking about, Sophie, when you
Yep.
go to Disney and you have 2 weeks and you're not like
Exactly.
really rushing to get through everything, but one night at Horror Nights goes by real quick.
Yes.
It really
Yes, I
does
can
when the lines
imagine.
get long. So
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's
definitely
the
a
way
good
forward.
option.
And that's the thing. I think even if you were just going to Universal, like the parks for a day, Express could be a
Hmm.
really good option
Yeah,
because you could get
definitely could.
so much done. Although I found like when I've been in September and I've been for a day,
Hmm.
I've managed to do all the rides I've wanted in that day. And that, to be fair, I don't go on all the rides because some of them make me feel a
Yeah.
bit sick. But
Fair.
like all of the stuff that I want to do, and that blows my mind that you're like,
Yeah.
this is perfect. Like the park hopper is fantastic. Going on the train is so much fun.
It is
And
so
I
much
love that it's a
fun.
different journey, like a different
Yes.
experience both ways.
Yeah, I love that Universal did that. It does make it
Yes,
fun. Like you don't feel like you're doing the same thing twice just
yes,
to go to the other park. You're
it's
getting a
so
different
true.
experience. That's cool. Yeah,
Exactly, it's so good. And I think that's the thing, like the Wizarding World is unbelievable, next
it
level,
is.
incredible. It's literally like being in the films, like you can't believe it. And
Hmm.
like it's one of those things that this is gonna sound silly, but like in the films, you obviously know they're film sets. But when
Yeah.
you're at the Wizarding World, you're like, I am in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
happened.
You
Like it's
totally are.
unreal. It's so good. It's
Especially
so
Diagon
good.
Alley.
Yes, yeah, exactly. You're just like, I can't
Yeah.
believe this. Like, and the fact that like
Yeah.
all of the shops, you can go get your school uniform. It's
I
so
know.
good.
It's so
It's
cool.
and like I love the wand ceremony.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's
So
really cool.
cool. Like I absolutely love it. And it's just like that level of interaction is amazing.
Yeah, it really is. It's very personalized.
Yes, yes, it's so
Cool.
good. And like, yeah, I just absolutely love it. So I think that's gonna be, and I think that kind of level of immersion, you're gonna get at Epic Universe. But obviously the great thing with Epic Universe is since like the Wizarding World has been built, technology's improved so much as well. So it's gonna
Yep.
be like unbelievable. I don't think we can even comprehend at the moment what it's gonna be like.
I totally agree because if you look at Hogsmeade versus Diagon Alley, like yeah, Hogsmeade is immersive,
Yeah.
but Diagon Alley is 10 times more immersive than Hogsmeade
Yes.
is. So like what's epic version gonna look like?
Exactly. It's
I
so
don't
true.
even know.
And that's why I'm so excited because
Yeah,
I just think we're not ready. It's going to be so
I
good.
agree. We're not
It's
ready.
exactly. And I can't wait. The fact that there's going to be a hotel inside the park
Yeah,
is going to be
that's
incredible.
gonna be
Like,
crazy.
how cool. Like, what a great. And I mean, I can't wait to see the pricing because I'm sure it will be the most expensive,
Oh,
but
it's
I'm
gonna be
sure they're going to have
ridiculous.
perks related to the fact that you're in the park.
Yeah.
I mean, how cool. If you're going and you want the full experience, you have to. Because actually, that's something I really think, and this is a top tip I always say to people, is if you are thinking of going to Universal for portion of your trip, stay in one of the deluxe resorts and then
Hmm.
you get the express pass
Yes.
for, and it's not just like, oh, one day. If you're there for one night, you get 2 days of express pass for
Yeah, you
everyone.
do.
And it's such a good value. And I'm
It
like, what a
is.
perk. It's amazing.
It is. I agree. That is a good tip.
Yeah, and it's just so handy because that it's a really great way to kind of get the most out of your trip and
Yep.
in a like much better way because the I think the express pass on its own can sometimes be like $200 upwards.
Yeah.
So the
Yep.
fact that you're all getting it and you're getting like 2 days worth, you're like, this is brilliant. And obviously
And
the
a
more
nice
days you
hotel
stay, yeah,
room.
exactly. They're so
Yeah.
close and like I know I think my friends that stayed they were like they literally walked from their hotel to the parks.
Hmm.
They were like it's that close. And I'm like it's
Yep.
so good.
It
It's
is
when
nice.
the idea of walking to a hotel in Disney it's like it's impossible apart from like a contemporary resort. But then it's just such a large destination that you just
Yeah.
can't walk. And I think that's one of the funny things I think people don't realize, particularly like if you've been to Disneyland or Disneyland Paris, where again you can
Hmm.
walk to the parks. I know so many people, they're like, oh, can I just walk from my hotel? And it's like, absolutely not. It's
No.
so big. And it's not
Yeah.
even like, there's not even the ability. There's like no sidewalks. There's no, you can't literally walk.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're totally right.
Yeah.
It's the same way with some of the Universal resorts. So the ones
Yep.
that are further, a little further
Right.
offsite, like especially the endless summer ones, don't try to
Yep.
walk from there.
Yes.
That's not
Yeah.
a good
Yeah.
idea.
Yes.
I don't know if there's sidewalks. I don't even know how you get there from there. Just ride the bus
Yeah.
or
Exactly. It's
Uber
so
if you really
true.
want to get there quicker, I
Yes.
guess.
Yeah.
Like,
But they're so
don't
quick,
walk.
the buses. They're so
They are.
frequent.
They're
It's
very
absolutely
frequent.
worth doing. So I'm like, yeah. And I love
Totally
again,
agree.
there's a whole range of different hotels. So
Yep.
like the budget hotels are really affordable,
They
but they're
are.
really nice. Like they're spacious, they've got really nice theming. Like
Yes.
even though they're considered like value hotels, I'm like, I wouldn't think that's a value hotel.
Right.
They're so good.
They're nice. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, there's something for everyone, which I love. I kind of love the idea of
Yes.
the Hard Rock Hotel because you can
Yeah.
like rent the instruments, and I'm like, I don't really
Yeah.
know how to play, but it sounds fun.
Why not? You still do it anyway.
I love
No
that the
one's gonna say
family
anything.
rooms. Yeah, exactly. The family rooms have the kids' room have like a stage.
What?
And I'm like,
I
could
did
they
not
do
know
that for
this.
adults as well? Because I would
Right.
absolutely love that. That would be so
Yeah,
fun.
that's amazing.
Yes. Yeah, and I love it. And again, they have like the fun themed rooms. So if you like
Yeah,
Jurassic Park or stuff like that, they've got
yeah,
specific rooms for you.
that's
And I'm like,
true.
that's so fun. It's so good. But I was wondering what it's like actually being an annual pass holder.
Oh, it's great.
Yes, yes.
It's great. I mean, it's funny because we've lived in Orlando for just over 2 years now,
Yep.
and it's still surreal to
Yeah.
me that I live here. Like it doesn't feel real on a regular day. Like just
Yeah.
getting off work and being like, well, I guess I'll just go take a lap around the park.
Yes,
And
that's
maybe
so
grab a
cool.
snack. I don't know. It's so weird to me. It's
Yes.
so weird. I'm very thankful to live here,
Yep.
especially to be able to, share out all the information that I'm able to share out.
Yes. Yeah.
It's it's much more difficult when you live further away.
Of course.
Like
Yeah. 1,000,000%.
yeah, there's so much like that you don't know unless you're in the park. Especially now, Universal has changed a lot about their app, which used to tell you a lot of things, especially like mobile order. You can't
Yeah.
look at mobile order anymore unless you're on property.
Oh,
It used to be
interesting.
you could look,
Yeah.
I could look at it from where I used to live down south in Florida. Like
Yeah.
I can't look at it anymore. So I have to physically go there. And
Oh,
things like
interesting.
the
Yeah.
shepherd's pasty pie not being available, I can't, like, it's on the regular menu. I can look at it on the
Right.
regular menu all day long, but I can't see mobile order unless I go over there. So I'll
Yes.
never know when that option is back unless I go and it's on
That's
mobile
so
order. It's so
true.
crazy. And then there's lots of snack stands too that they rotate out their options and you would never know that they changed unless someone else notices it and posts
Yeah.
it on social media. So it's like it's a lot of legwork, which I'm not going to complain about because I get more exercise
Yeah.
living here than I
That's so
used
true.
to where I used to live. Even though I would come here like sometimes 2 or 3
Yeah.
weekends out of the month, like I still I'm doing more now that I'm here. And
Oh, I can only imagine.
yeah, that's what I love about Halloween Horror Nights because
Yeah.
like as a woman, I don't have a lot of places at night that I can go by myself.
Yeah.
And I can go to Halloween Horror Nights and be out late and it's
Yeah.
okay. Like I
Yes,
feel
exactly.
I you're not ever 100% safe. Someone fell on me in a house a couple years ago.
Oh my God, that's wild. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
But there is a level of safe
Yeah.
that I feel there. So I go and
Yes.
I try to get as much exercise as I can in September and October, which is
Yes.
really nice. So, I mean, if nothing else, if you live in Orlando and you're looking for somewhere to walk,
Yeah,
go to
exactly that.
Universal.
That's the
You can
thing.
just
I'm
go
like,
walk around.
I think I need to move to Orlando
I
and
think you do.
say it's
Come
like, oh,
on.
it's a medical reason. Like I need
Yeah.
to go and get fit. So the
Yeah.
only way is obviously to move to Orlando. Because like you say, there is so much walking, and because you're doing
Yeah.
stuff, you don't even realize how much you're walking because it's all so
You
exciting.
don't. You
until
don't,
the
unless you have
until the
bad
end of
shoes.
the day, and then your feet are dead, and you're like, oh, I
Yeah.
think I've noticed now that I've walked a lot.
I've walked a while. Yeah. Wear
Yeah,
good shoes, guys.
yeah,
Like get
exactly
some
that.
good sneakers.
That's the one thing that I'm like at the end of Halloween Horror Nights. I'm like the walk back to the car park. I already know
Yeah.
is gonna
Yeah.
be it's gonna be tough.
It's gonna be tough. So
It
just make
feels
sure you
so
wear good
long.
shoes. It
Yeah,
does. It
in the
does.
morning you're like, oh, I'm here so quickly, and then when you're going back to the car, you're like, I'm never gonna get there.
Like, can I pay someone to like physically drag me out of the park at this point?
So
Or
true,
can we
isn't
do
it?
like piggyback rides? Like,
Yeah,
is someone offering
exactly.
this service? Because I need it.
That would be so good. That would be so fun. But like in, I don't know if you have them, but like in like the UK in like shopping malls, they'll sometimes around Christmas time have like a little train for kids, and it will like
Oh,
a man will drive it and it will go all around the shopping mall. And I'm like, they should have them because
they
that would be
should.
very fun,
I
but also
agree.
save your feet. It's
Yeah,
so good.
I
But
totally agree.
I absolutely love that they do have the moving walkways though.
Yes, they are wonderful.
Oh, it helps so much. It's
It
so
does.
good.
Here's one of my tips. I don't have a lot of good tips for the parks because I don't do normal
Right.
guest things, but my one tip would be if you see the moving walkways are not working
Yeah.
and your feet hurt, still walk on it. It's still 10 times better than walking on the concrete. It gives a little
Right.
this way.
Yes.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
walk on them anyway, and I feel like people look at me like, you know, that's not working right. And I'm like, yeah, I do, but it
Yeah.
saves my feet. So I
That's the
don't
way
care.
forward. Yeah, exactly that. It's so good. And I think you're so right. Like, it's so nice being an annual pass holder because it's such a different way to visit. And
It
like you said, the
is.
fact that you could just finish work and pop over is so lovely. And I think that's something I really like about watching vlogs of people that live in Orlando because you
Hmm.
get a completely different experience to what you would do on holiday. But then
Yep.
you hear stuff that you would never know. Or
It's
like,
true.
oh, do this thing because obviously when you can visit frequently you get to experience everything over the course of like the years,
Yeah,
so you find out all these little things and you're like, oh, it's so handy, it's
it
so
is.
good. Yes. So yeah, I love it. I cannot wait to be coming back because it's so close now. I
I
think it's like 41 days at the time
I
of
know, I'm so
recording. I'm
excited.
like, oh, I can't wait. It's so good. I've been like doing, I planned all my outfits yesterday.
Nice.
So I was like,
I
this is
love it.
perfect. But I think I'm coming for 14 nights. And I've got like 20 outfits. And I'm like, you need to calm down. Like,
But you
just
never
stop.
know. You
Yeah,
might, it could rain and
that's such
then
a good point, isn't it?
you need a change of clothes. So
Yeah,
I think that's a good
exactly
amount of
that.
outfits for that many days. I think you're
It's
good.
so true. It's good. I'm like, okay, it's perfect. And like, as long as it fits in the case, it's all good.
That's true. That's really all that
Yeah.
matters.
Yes. And I'm so excited for the Horror Nights merch as well. Like I
Yes.
loved it last time. I felt like a bit of a fraud because I got all excited and as soon as I arrived at Orlando, at my hotel, I went in the shop and I bought like all the t-shirts. I was like, brilliant, and I was like, I can wear it to the event. And then obviously it didn't happen, and I was like, oh no, I feel bad because I've got all the t-shirts, but I didn't actually go.
Oh no, it's okay. You
It's
were there
nuts.
in spirit. It was
Exactly.
you were there as much as you could be. You
Yeah,
know, the
exactly
weather
that.
didn't cooperate. It's
Yeah, that's a good point. And the thing that was funny is Cabana Bay have that like pop up where
Yep.
it's like cardboard cutouts and it's great because you get all the cool photos. But the thing that
Yeah.
was funny is the last time I was going to go to Halloween Horror Nights, I was going to go solo. And I don't know what possessed me to think I was capable of doing that because I love horror movies, but I hate haunted houses. Like when I was a
Oh
kid,
no.
I had a terrible experience in a haunted house. Like
Oh
our
no.
haunted house in Portsmouth, it was literally just black painted walls and then like a ghost in white painted on the wall. It was terrible. But
Oh
when I was about
no.
7, me and my friend went on it at night, and as we were going around, a man came through with an axe, and I was like, "Oh, they've really stepped this up." Outside, pandemonium. No one knew who he was. He wasn't part of the ride, and I was like, "What?" And it was terrifying. So now I hate haunted houses. So while I thought I could go to Halloween Horror Nights alone, I don't know, because I went to this cardboard cutout room. I was scared in there, and it was cardboard. So
Oh no.
I'm very excited to see it. So I will apologise. There will probably be some screaming.
It's okay. Screaming is fine. Screaming
Yes,
is fine.
it's
You
part of
know,
the experience.
there there are different people at horror
Yeah.
nights. There are the people who like I want to say this, know how to behave. And then
Yep.
there are some people who think that putting it on is the
Right.
way to go. And
Yep.
I've definitely had my share of experiences with those people. I don't picture you being one of those people. I think like if
No.
you're screaming, it's
This
genuine.
is the thing.
But
'Cause, yeah, I'm gonna
there's people
try and act like a normal person and try and contain
you
it.
you will be.
But
It's okay.
I'm
No,
sure it's gonna come out.
you don't have to contain it. I don't think there's anything wrong with
Yes.
like reacting the way you're going to react. It's
Yes.
just there are certain people who think that like
Yeah. I know
reacting
exactly what you mean.
more, you
Yeah.
know what I mean, with the
Yeah.
like just screaming the whole time or
Yes. Yeah.
I've had people like run and push me like to try and get
That's
out of the house
wild. Oh my gosh.
and or backpedal on me, which
Yes.
like it's much harder for them to do that nowadays. Thankful, I mean, I
Yeah.
hate to say it, thankfully because of the conga lines, it's harder.
Yeah.
But there were
Yeah.
definitely times where there were spaces between people, and then they would just take advantage of that space
That's
and like
crazy.
plow into me. And I'm like,
Yes. Yeah.
can you please not do that? And then also not scream bloody murder in my ear for
Yeah. Exactly.
the 5 minutes that we're in this house.
Yeah.
Like,
And you're like, I've done this in 10 houses. I can't hear anymore.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, exactly.
exactly.
So,
And
and
like you
I
say, if
go
you're
ahead.
having a natural reaction, like
Yes, that's
sometimes
totally
if you're
fine.
surprised, you are gonna like, oh, but yeah, if you're just putting it on, it must be so incredibly frustrating. You're just like, come on now.
Yeah.
Definitely
there's
not.
not too many people like that, but there are some,
Yes.
and please don't do that. No one's enjoying that
No,
experience
exactly.
around you.
Yes. I'm so excited to see because this year obviously they've got a Quiet Place house, and I'm really curious
Yes.
to see if it's going to be silent and if because that's the one thing that stressed me out is they were like, if you make noise, they will come for you, and I'm like, well, there's no point in me even going in there because I will make noise. I'm going to become the target. But it'll be really interesting if it is going to be kind of a quiet house.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how they do that one
Yes.
too.
Yes.
It's going to be really interesting. I've heard so many people speculating on it, and
Right.
I don't even know. I could speculate all day and
Yes.
probably not figure out what they're going to do. So I think we all
Yeah.
just have to wait and see
Exactly that.
what it
It's gonna be so
is.
much fun. And I do really like as well that they have all the extra add-ons. So if you want to do like tours of the houses in the
Yep.
daytime and hear about them, it's fantastic. They do
Yeah,
like the
those are
VIP
fun.
tours at the night. I mean, like it's great that there's so many different ways you can visit.
There really are. There really are.
Yes.
The unmasking the horror tours are fun. I will say they're very
Yes.
hot because,
Yep.
it's in the dead of summer,
Yep. Yep.
basically the hottest time of year. We're not doing one this year because last year was just
Yeah.
brutal. It's
Oh, I
just
can only
it's so
imagine.
hot in the
Yeah.
back lots. It's
Yes. Yeah.
But RIP is a great way to experience it.
Yep.
They have that Scream Early ticket.
Yep.
No, not Scream Early, sorry. Wow. Premium Scream night that they're doing the night
Yep.
before opening night. So,
Perfect. Oh,
so
amazing.
yeah,
Yeah, there's
there's
so
tons of
many
ways.
things, which is good. And like you
Yep.
said, the good thing to note is, like you said, if you're an annual pass holder or you already have daytime tickets,
Hmm.
you can just stay in the park. You don't have to
Yep.
leave. Or if you're someone like me, this trip, I'm not got a ticket for Universal, you
Right.
can buy the Scream early, so you can get in
Yep.
early. And it's nice because you actually could go in from 3 o'clock. So you could spend a few
Yes.
hours in the park, like eating or going on some rides,
Hmm.
then get to Halloween Horror Nights. And I think you were saying like you could typically do a few houses quite quickly because of
Yep.
course everyone else there's like the world's biggest queue all trying to get in, so you're
Yes.
skipping all of that, which is fantastic.
Yes, that queue gives me anxiety. Either I
Oh
just
gosh.
stay and scream or I will come later, like
Yep,
7 o'clock, and just
that makes
not
sense.
deal with that. I can't stand in
Yes.
that line. And I know that sounds ridiculous because I'm going into the event with all these people, but at least they're not just like crammed in
Yep,
this one area under the arches for
100%. It's
however
so
long.
true, isn't it? Because everyone will spread out because that's the thing, like the parks are big, so you're
Yeah,
gonna all spread out and yeah,
exactly.
but in the queue it's like, oh, we're all here.
Yeah,
It's a
it's
nightmare.
uncomfortable.
Yes, I was reading something today, and I was like, "This is a really cool fact." They were saying that the Universal Monsters house is going to actually be in the soundstage where they
Oh,
filmed
yes.
the horror films, and I'm like, "That's incredible!" Like,
I read
what a
that too.
cool
That
like.
does sound cool.
It's
It's
such a
come
like
full
lovely like
circle.
throwback. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. So I just can't wait, and I'm so excited that we're going to go together. Like, it's
I
the
know.
best, and
I'm really
to finally
excited
get to
too.
meet, it's going to be perfect. So I can't wait, and it's
So
so
much
close
fun.
now. They're so good. But thank you so much for being on the podcast. It's been so
Oh, no
fantastic to talk to
problem.
you
Thank
and
you for
so
having me,
helpful.
Sophie.
Yes, it's been so good. And definitely go check out Universal Orlando Vegans. I'll put the links everywhere because if you're visiting, you can get all the information, like we said. You can ask questions in the Facebook group. Like, it's helped my trip no end because I knew exactly where to eat. And the fact that you're not just like walking around and see somewhere and go in and, it's an option, but it's maybe not your favorite thing.
Yeah.
Whereas if you know in advance, you're like, oh my God, that sounds delicious. I'll make a
Hmm.
point of eating here. So it's so good. So yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Awesome.
So
I
excited.
can't wait for you to be here either. I'm so excited.
Yes, it's gonna be the best. It's gonna be the best. But yeah, thank you so much once again.
Thank you, Sophie,
And until
for
next
having me.
time, have a most magical day. Bye bye.
Bye.